Hi everybody and welcome to Wild Earth this afternoon. And what a wonderful way to start than with a beautiful male lion from the Majingilane Pride. Now I think the brothers are around, but they are further to the other side on the southern side of Gary Main, so we're not able to go and have a look there. But for the time being, we have at least one of the brothers washing himself. My name's Tara, I'm going to be your guide for this afternoon. Joining me on camera is Daniel, and back in flight control is Siabonga. And I'm hoping we can spend a little bit of time with these boys. And if they do become flat cats, then we'll leave them to it and maybe come back a little bit later when they may be a little bit more active. And they really are just coming into their own now. It was just over about a year ago before they arrived. We first saw them around June. And I remember it struck me they were very nervous about being in the area, obviously in another male's territory. The Mapocos, and they really were a force to be reckoned with. But since taking over the territory, they really are quite assured of themselves, and that mane has started growing on each of the individuals. And when we first met them, there was only one that had quite a dark mane. There is another one that's also developed a beautiful dark mane now. And they really are quite handsome. Any questions anybody would like to ask this afternoon, please send them through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv. It'd be great to hear from you this afternoon and wherever you are in the world. Ooh, come over here, mister. It'll be wonderful. There's plenty of shade this side. Unfortunately, the buffalo have gone, but I think they have moved further this way. Ah! Onto our property. So with any luck, these boys might just follow them. Okay, what I'm going to do is maybe just see if we can get another view of him the other side, because he looks like he is getting irritated by flies quite a lot. I see the tail going, so if he gets irritated enough, he might just move again. It's one of the reasons why they're so dangerous. Look at this. You can barely see him. You see him through there a little bit. All you can see is the belly. If you're driving by here, you probably wouldn't see him unless you knew that they were here. A little bit of cloud cover now. You're actually in between the hippo and the water, they panic, and that's when you do have a problem of a hippo actually killing a person. And you saw how wide they can open their mouths, almost 108 degrees. And there's those teeth, and they can just bite you in half without even a second thought. But I think it has actually been proven now that crocodiles are the biggest culprits or biggest killers of humans here in Africa. That title went to the hippos for many years. I think it's only been really this year that it's been proven that actually crocodiles are responsible for more deaths, and the reason being hippos don't eat, or generally don't eat meat. So they won't actually eat a person if they do kill them, whereas a crocodile will, and they'll actually eat everything. He's a very grumpy hippo. I think we're going to leave him to it, and let him settle down a little bit. And hopefully, we'll meet him again. For the ripples. Alright, Mr. Hippo, you can have your pool back now. It really has turned out to be quite a beautiful day today. Beautiful blue sky. Actually, those beautiful clouds we were looking at just as we were heading down to the lines are slowly drifting away. We've had some very high clouds, the Sirius clouds. There's going to be a warm front coming in at some stage in the next couple of days. So we may see a drop in the weather again. But for now we have blue sky. I'm sure everyone's quite happy about. I thought I could hear a squirrel. Where are you, squirrel? Are you calling for us or are you calling for something else? Oh, there's a squirrel. Squirrel was on the road. If it was a ground predator, squirrel would not be on the road, it'll be in the tree. There it is. Just on the termite mound in front of us. Right at the base of the termite mound. If you look at the termite mound just on the left, right at the base, there it goes. I think that was the one that was calling, it sounded close enough. So, it may have been for us. Hi Gary, good afternoon. Is it Gary and Kit? Oh, Caddy and your family are watching. Good afternoon to you, Caddy, great to hear from you. And I think you're asking, are we scared in case the lions jump onto the vehicle? I'm sure I'll get corrected if I'm wrong there. But I'm not scared. These lions are used to the vehicles, especially by now. And they have come to realise we're not going to harm them. We just have to be part of their lives. So they do accept the fact that we're just there. And there's no reason for them to actually hunt us or to jump on the vehicles, because there's enough food out there for them. And they grow up eating buffalo and wildebeest and zebra. Unless they're sick, injured, or maybe even old and not able to catch the normal food, there's no reason a healthy lion should want to hunt a human. But the problem does come in when they are sick or injured and they're no longer able to run after or hunt their normal food source. And there are other occasions where healthy lions have turned on people because they found them an easy food source. And unfortunately, when that happens, if you get a man-eater, then it's very difficult really for them to break that cycle, because they suddenly realise this is an easy prey. Unfortunately, there are prides, I think, further north that have turned their attention because there's maybe not enough of their normal food around. They've actually turned their attention to people, but again, it's because of the lack of the food. They're turning their attention to something else. But here in the Sabi Sands, there's plenty of food. And when you are with lions, or any predators for that matter, you're always told to remain seated because you are part of the vehicle, you are part of that whole thing that they see. And even if they do see individuals, you're still part of that truck, you're still part of that outline. Whereas if you stand up, you single yourself out. And I have actually seen it where lions do react. And there's been a couple of occasions my guests have told them don't stand. And my guests stood. And the lions did actually react to it. And they sort of started going down and they were actually eyeing them up. And I knew immediately what they'd done, and I actually turned around and caught them in the act. But on occasion the guests would go, no, we didn't do anything, even though I could see them out the corner of my eye. But the animals tell me. Okay, I've just, there's a couple of fresh piles of dung, looks like female rhino, in here at our territorial bull's midden. I'm just seeing if there's any tracks around that we can follow, but we're going to have a quick look down towards Twin Dams. So they may well have gone that side. The tracks kind of do something funny, they go off through there by the looks of it. We'll have a quick look. Ah, they do pop out. Here we go. We've got the rhino tracks here. Possibly go off there. They might be utilising this drainage line. They may just pop out on the other side here. And I did see one of Karula's tracks there too. Hey squirrel, what are you shouting about? Can you see something? Yeah. Also heading south. Okay squirrel, where are you? Where are you looking? Looking into the drainage line. Okay, we need to go into the drainage line then. We need to go into the drainage line. Squirrel's pointing that way and calling. That would be nice. here. Keeping a look out for the rhinos in here too. See if we can hear it again. Yep, still calling. I don't think we're going to go much further through here. Well, back out onto the road, see how we go. How we're doing with that aerial. Turn around here, I hope. A squirrel, with it being so small, its predators could be any size. We have seen them call for lion and leopard. So sometimes it can be that, sometimes it can be a bird, sometimes it can be a snake, or even a small predator. Grind it. We'll try back around the road, just in case whatever it was seeing has come out towards the road. Good afternoon, stations. I left the Ngala Lalapans on the southern side of Gary Main, same place as this morning. Ow. Squirrel has stopped now. Maybe we'll do a quick lap around here, go onto Mumba Road, see if those rhinos have popped out there. I was hoping they were going to be in this drainage line here. got a couple of birds here. Just heard one of them calling. Black-Smith lapwing and the Egyptian geese on the far bank. Just park here, I might be able to see them. It looks like they've got the 3 chicks almost through to adulthood. And the Black-Smith lapwing is the one calling now. Here it sounds a bit like a blacksmith's hammer on an anvil. It's one of these birds you really don't want to get too close to when they do have a nest, because they will actually mob you. So if you get too close, they'll dive bomb and actually peck you to try and protect their nest and try and get you to turn around and move away. Black-Smith lapwing. And the Egyptian geese, also very, very loud call, highly territorial. You wouldn't find another family here while this family are utilising the dam. Although as we go into winter, you will find them flocking together. On that rare occasion, they will seek each other's company for safety. Because they do go through a flightless molt, so they're unable to fly during that period. So they stay very close to the dam. And any sign of danger, they'll just utilise the water. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Hi, Finja. Hi, Finja. Wanting to know how many times we changed the tyres last week. None, actually. Touch wood. It's been a flat tyre-free zone for the time being. I do wonder if we might get one today. Now that I've said that. Bless you. Cool. Well, let's leave these guys to it. I don't think there's anything around here. I'm quite impressed we managed to get 3 chicks at least to adulthood. There is a big water monitor that lives around here. Notorious for eating goslings. Let's have just a very, very good look on the other side there, because I wonder why this one is calling. I wonder if there's any sneaking up behind us. But we're going to make a turn around this side anyway. Unless it's us, maybe it is us. It's going quiet now. What's up, Blackwing? Why are you calling? Usually most animals are accustomed to us, but occasionally, Might get one or two who are not. I think we do need to keep a watch out around here. See if Karula pops up again. Oh, sorry little hornbill. I'm busy having a dust bath. Saying yes, thank you very much. The smaller red-billed hornbill, slightly smaller than the yellow-billed. You can see a slightly smaller beak as well. So now I'm going to start eating the ants instead. Let's have a quick look around. Oh, you are going to go back and... having a dust bath and a meal on the side. Very important to keep those feathers in tip-top condition. And dust bathing is one of the ways they can do it. They can just dislodge any parasites that might be caught in amongst the feathers. I'm going into hiding, little one. Okay. Now the geese are calling. Let's go around the other side and see what it is they're calling about. Seems as the car that's just driven by has checked out Baboon Pan for us. That lapwing is still calling, and now the geese are calling. What's going on, geese? Why are you calling? Who is around? Who is flying over? Oh, water monitor! Wow, look at him! Ha! That's what's going on. Can you see him from here? And that is... wow, that is quite a big monitor lizard. Couldn't see him from the other side. Maybe he was just hidden. That is obviously why. That
Huge.
That lapwing is not happy. And I was just talking about him as well, saying there was a big water monitor that lives here, and that's him. He's almost like a small crocodile. That is enormous. It's at least 1.5 meters. My word. And a monitor that size would even be eating probably the adult birds as well. Plucking them off from underneath the water maybe. Eating eggs, any chicks they found. anything they could really get their jaws around. Again, very opportunistic animals. Quite huge. Lapwing's keeping quite a distance between the two. I don't blame it at all. Water monitors, you may even hear being called yellow-throated monitors. There are the rock monitors as well, slightly smaller, also known as white-throated monitors. But he really is quite a beast. Also, just like a crocodile, they will bask in the sun like any other reptile actually. Warm themselves up before they're able to digest their food. Very, very good swimmers, so they'll even utilize the water. Hence the name water monitor. Very cheeky as well. They actually will utilize termite mounds. They'll break open termite mounds, lay their eggs inside the termite mound, and once those termites actually block up the hole, all the eggs will be inside, so the female water monitor doesn't even need to worry about incubating them. And they'll hatch out a little bit sooner than those that will build a nest for themselves. Sometimes there isn't any termite mounds around or available, so they do have to build a nest. But with the termites keeping their nest at a constant temperature, those eggs will hatch fairly quickly. And they'll be able to eat a few termites once they do hatch out. So there you go. Just goes to show it's always worth checking out an animal giving an alarm call. I think this question comes from Peter. I could be wrong, but unfortunately I'm not catching the name. Are you catching the name? No. Pinja! Pinja! Sorry Pinja, not getting your name there. But welcome on board this afternoon. Wanting to know, are they poisonous or venomous to humans? And so far we know that they're not. But there is a lot of research going on, and they've even found that now Komodo dragons, even though they do have, which are very close relatives of the monitor lizards, they have bacteria in their mouths, and when they bite something, that bacteria actually starts making the flesh go rotten, actually starts breaking it down, and unfortunately when an animal is bitten, that's how they die. It takes them several days, and it's all the effects of the bacteria. But now they've also found they have some form of venom as well. But for the time being, as we know it, monitors don't have venom. And the difference between venom and poison you actually have to eat, so berries can be poisonous, whereas venom is actually injected. So that's the venom that will be used with the teeth on snakes and, as I say, even now, the Komodo dragon. But we don't have the Komodo dragons here, but this guy is probably tail, body, the whole length of the dashboard here. Here's the length of that monitor lizard, which is quite amazing. Oh, and I was going to do the whole lion thing. So, if a lion was to stand next to me, especially one of those Majingilanes, the head would probably come up to about here on me. So quite a big male, and probably the body about here. So the head probably about here, something like that. If I was to lie flat next to a lion, I think I'd probably reach, probably about the same length as me, maybe just a little bit shy. And I'm 5'2", so probably about here, I'd say, if I was to lie next to a lion. So yeah, quite a big animal, hey? Okay, let's have a quick look down Mamba Road before we do head back to the lions and see what they're up to. And apart from one old track, not too much else around here from Karula. So I have tried this drainage line here. Maybe let's have a quick look. See if they've gone up Mamba Road. We might be able to come down, so that's an idea. Let's come down Leopard Road before heading off towards where the lions are, and hopefully give a few of the game drive vehicles chance to have a look at the lions, so we're not battling to get in there. Anybody coming along that way? Nope. afternoon stations, if you can copy me, I left the Ngala Lalapanzing on Gary Main, same place as this morning. Good afternoon, Ephraim. The Ngala was still Lalapans when I left them. I was going to try and head over there a little bit later. There's no bird here in front of us. It's doing something very funny with its wing. It's almost as if it was displaying, but I can't see where the other dove was actually displaying. It's gone into the shade now, sadly. It's got this beautiful rusty colour under the wing. Emerald spotted dove. And if it comes back out into the light, you'll be able to see those two green spots on the wing, where it gets its name from. And they're metallic. Are you able to see them now? Oh, there it goes. Now that metallic colour isn't due to pigments that they eat, like the carotenoids, like the yellows and the oranges and the bright reds. It's actually due to layers of keratin inside the feather, and those layers of keratin will actually reflect different wavelengths of light. So the metallic greens and blues and violets are produced in that way. You can get a combination as well. But with those very glossy metallic colours, that's how that pigment is produced. And that's why if you have a feather of a bird that has a metallic colour, you'll see it doesn't fade, whereas a feather with maybe yellows or reds will generally fade over time. And that's because the pigment is actually produced from what the animal eats. So eventually it does fade. The emerald spotted dove. Well, our rhinos didn't walk out here. We'll quickly try Leopard Road. We'll swing by, see if those lions have moved a little bit. And then we'll start heading up around Zoe's Road and see where those buffalo are. See if they have moved onto our property. Very difficult to really say with the tracks. Unfortunately, where the buffalo were was on the main road this morning. There's been a lot of people driving through there. Unfortunately, those tracks pretty much all disappeared. And with them getting up and stretching, they're all sitting down there too. It's quite difficult to determine exactly what was going on there. Oh, beautiful. You get the lilac-breasted roller in the tree there. Especially sitting in the sun. I think we've counted around 12 or 15 colours on this bird. You can see this also has bright colours, so the pinks are probably from what it eats. There's blues. They're not quite metallic, but they can be formed in a different way. Instead of having layers of keratin, they actually have small pockets of keratin with actually air pockets in between as well. So that actually produces these blues and other different colours, but they're not metallic. And also you notice he's sitting right on the top of the tree. Now this is also a way to claim your territory and defend your territory without actually having to put too much effort into it. And many different species will do this. Birds, but also mammals as well. So they'll find an open area and they'll sit out on the open area or even on a little mound to display, so they don't actually have to walk around and advertise that fact. And we're hearing a lot of the rollers calling at the moment, so there's a lot of territorial display going on. And as the name suggests, they'll actually roll to display. They'll roll right over in their flight. Beautiful. And now the European roller's gone. We're seeing the lilac-breasted rollers again a lot more. European rollers are slightly larger, a lot more blue on their bodies. And they do seem to be a little bit of a bully when it comes to the lilac-breasted rollers. They seem to dominate the area while they're around. So we're going to make our way towards Cheetah Cut Line now and see if we have luck bumping into these rhino. I'm hoping that they are going to be around. Gives us a good opportunity to check Cheetah Cut Line for any tracks of Karula too. Okay, quick one. Ready to jump off? Here is your tracking question, everybody. Let's see if we can quickly jump off. This one's quite a cool one. I saw some movement there. Hopefully you can see it. It's just down here. This trail here. Hopefully it's going to turn out quite nicely.
Looks almost like tire tracks.
Sure, it does a little bit. And if we actually pan up, you can maybe just make out where the trail goes a bit further down. So from this level, you can actually just about see the track heading down as well. We're cutting over the tyre tracks. So this is an animal. So if you want to play along, that's where unfortunately the tyres drive over it. Not the animal, the tracks. But if you would like to play along at home and tell me what you think this animal is that has made it, this is one side of the track here and this is the other here, so this is it here. Then send your answers through to questions@wildearthsafari.tv. And there's even another one here that I'd like to show you while we're here quickly. This one just here, if you have a look, a small one, about the width of my finger. And to give you an idea, I'll tell you what, we'll make this track 2. So we've got track 1 and this is track 2. So if you want to have a look here, there we go, you can actually see it quite nicely there. So that's the size of it next to my finger. And then for the other track, I'll put my hand here and you'll be able to see the size of this track compared to my hand, hopefully. We should be able to see it quite nicely, especially this part here. Yeah, that's turning out quite nice. You can actually see it quite nicely there. So, track 1, that first track, and track 2, that little track. We'll see what we get back with that. So get your thinking caps on as we head around onto Leopard Road, try and see if we can find those rhino. Okay. Hi Chris, good afternoon to you, good to hear from you Chris. And you have the skunks over, is it Illinois that you live? I think it's the first time I've heard where you live actually. And do we have anything similar here in Africa? we have very similar looking animals. Like the polecat looks very similar to the striped polecat. It's very similar to the skunk, and the striped weasel, a much smaller version of it. But they don't spray like a skunk does. But the mongoose also in fact smell. You'll give off this secretion that they mark the territory with. As far as I know, the polecats aren't able to do that. They're not able to actually spray, as far as I know. And I think the mongoose were actually separated, not the mongoose, the skunks were actually separated because they used to be part of the mustelids, which is what the weasels are part of, and I think the polecat's also part of, and the badgers also the mustelids. Weasel-like family, which is what it means. But I think recently they have actually split them off from that family and given them their own family. And that's one thing I'd love to see actually, is a striped polecat. Its other name is a zorilla. Zorilla. A bit like gorilla with a Z. Zorilla. Was that Rod? Well done, Rod. Got the first track right. Let's see what else comes back. It's quite funny. If you've never seen it before, it can be quite a difficult track, but once you see it, oh, there's a battalier there in the tree. Sorry, in the tree, in the dead tree.
What is it? What kind of
So this is a battalier. One of the eagles that are found here quite regularly. And it is a resident, it doesn't fly anywhere. Well, it can fly, but it doesn't migrate. Beautiful red beak, red legs and red cere, that skin just behind the beak. And this is a male. Females have a white stripe on the wing. Usually very good at finding carcasses. They will hunt themselves, but if there is a free meal going, they will invite themselves. And just checking on the zorilla, and apparently it can squirt the foul-smelling fluid, so it is very similar to the skunk. Just wanted to double check on that. So Chris, the zorilla, the striped polecat, can squirt the fluid, but the mongoose can't. A batelier comes from the French word meaning a trapeze artist. They've actually got quite a small wingspan and very short tail for this eagle, and they've actually got a very tight turning circle. They're able to navigate and negotiate around the trees. So it is a bit like a trapeze artist in that sense. I don't think he spied any food today. So let's continue on our hunt. But what I was saying about the tracks, is if you've seen the tracks before, it's very easy. There's nothing else really like it, especially for the first track. But if you've never seen it before, it may take a little bit of thinking. And well done to David. Also getting it correct. And I'll wait a few more minutes, see if there's any more guesses before I reveal the answer. And also for the second track too. Isaac. Isaac. Isaac saying human for the third track. Wildebeest for the first track. And a small bird for the second track. Very small bird. But it could have been. Could have been, but unfortunately not quite. Wildebeest also. Well done for guessing, but unfortunately not right. Wildebeest, you're looking for two parts to the hoof, almost like a cow or a sheep or a goat. Have you seen those tracks? It's the same sort of thing. So you're looking for two parts to the track. Squeeze through there. Lorry, track 1 is a scrub hare. Nice one, Lorry. Very close. Very close. But not right, unfortunately. But I can see where you're coming from. So you're actually seeing the little feet. Maybe. That gives me an idea for the next track. So track 1, scrub hare. Track 2, a mouse. Also, it could have been, but not quite there. So far no one's got track 2 right. 2 people have got track 1 right. Fabian, African Easter Bunny. Nice one, Fabian. Well, we're coming to the end of Leopard Road. And none of my little friends. Very sad about that. They might still be in the drainage line somewhere. You never know, they might have popped out around Twin Dams again. Let's have a quick look again. And I think we'll start heading down towards the lines if we can. Let's see if there's space. Ryan, come in.
Alright.
I'm copying you loud and clear this afternoon. Is it possible to join the lock or go on standby for the Ngala?
People talking over each other. Alright, copy. Take the first standby for Mafufunyane. Able, go, yep.
I saw something outside. Ryan, I couldn't quite copy Abel, but if he hasn't managed to see the Ngala, we'll go second standby.
Sorry, there's no visual on the Ngala. They started Gary's main. No visual at the moment.
Okay, copy.
Sorry, I don't know if you know, just mobile east on Gary's main.
Okay, copy. Sorry, that would be great if we could go first standby command.
First standby.
Awesome. Well. I was talking about lions and they're talking about a leopard, which is kind of heading this way. At the moment, we're going to have to wait. Standing by? Copy, thank you very much. Awesome. So, just over the hill here, we should have Karula's possible father, Mafufunyane. Huge male leopard. We haven't seen him for a little while. But apparently there's no visual on the lions just as yet. And I see a vehicle. And I thought I saw a leopard. Where did I see the leopard? Oh, I see the vehicles at least. So that we don't put pressure on him. And as you can see, it does work. The 3 stations or 3 vehicles in a sighting does actually help to keep the animals relaxed. So it is important to try and stick to that rule. Sometimes when there's an animal sighting on a boundary like we have here, and unfortunately it can be a little bit confusing, and you can end up with a couple of extra people here.
Mobile in the easterly direction, down the Njela, down Gary Main. 3 vehicles unlocked. Surprise, Ephraim just pulled in as well, and Toro unlocked.
Okay.
No first standby.
So we'll have, now that he's left, we'll go and have another look, and then we'll make some space for him and his guests again. Copy, Phil. We're going to have another quick look and then we'll make some more space for you. We're just going to have one more look and we'll make space for you again. We'll just go and have another look and then we'll make some space for you again. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, okay. Awesome. We'll come and join you that side just now.
Rex and Gregson, just
Okay.
confirm if I can take a second vehicle with you.
And just see if we can just move along just a little bit. Good afternoon.
Hello.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
You got enough space there? Do you need me to go on a bit
No,
further?
yeah, I'll turn it around now.
Oh, okay.
There you go, yes.
You can see that beautiful white tail. And that is used in communication. You can see how well it stands out when he flicks it up. So depending on how they hold it and what they're doing with it, can convey so many different things. But unlike the lions, they are a solitary cat. Getting bothered by flies. You can see him shaking his head. Bless you. Now I said earlier about him being possibly the father of Kurilla, because no one can be 100% sure of the paternity of cubs, because leopards, unless you see the full mating, there could be another male that comes in and takes over the mating.
Right.
Let's see if we can. See if we can get ahead of him again. And she may have taken Mafufunyane as a mate for her first litter. But she could have also taken Yambili or Dan for her first litter too. So no one's really 100% sure. But judging by the interaction between her, her mother and this leopard, there is a very big possibility that he is her father. And here we go.
Where are you now? I am about to cross through the Furuwati from Yagitan.
There we go. seems to be a bit on a mission. Wonder where he's going to go.
Go western channel.
Oh, he's just spotted something. Can you see? Check the tail twitching. And he was just looking in the bush then, but obviously what it was isn't worth his effort. And now the sun is going down. Here at Juma Game Reserve, and now the temperature is quite pleasant. We good? Yeah, it's fine. We'll. See if we can get one last look and maybe see if we can then head over to the lions. If there's space. Okay, we'll stay with Mafufunyane a bit longer. There's quite a few people with the lions now. Every time I try and leapfrog him, we do give quite a few meters, and you can see it's not affecting his behaviour at all. So we're just making sure that he's happy with us doing that, and we're making sure we're making quite a wide detour around him. I think that's going to be a little bit too wet to go out that side. And down towards Baboon Pan. bush. It's alright if we just pop round? Is that okay? Or is it just here? Or it's just there? Oh. Just waiting for a private vehicle to drive by. This is the main road. And there's our lapwings again. We are going to see if we can try and make our way back to the lions, but it is a very busy sighting at the moment. It sounds like they have just got up, which is what everybody was waiting for. So I think we can spend the opportunity with a leopard we don't get a chance to see very often.
For the African people.
He really is getting quite bothered by flies. Now it's that thick neck of theirs that really set them apart from other big cats, having to hide their food away from larger predators like the lions, who may steal their kill, even hyenas. So they're able to hoist food that is much larger than they are up into a tree to keep it out of reach. And if you're wondering how close he got to the tracker who sits on the front of the vehicle, I think at one stage as he was walking by I was probably about a metre and a half from him. Okay, I'm getting questions through here, but I'm not catching the name. We're wanting to know what Mafufunyane means. Ah, Tiger Man. Good afternoon to you, Tiger Man. Wanting to know what Mafufunyane means. And it means being a bit aggressive. And he's been here in the Sabi Sands all of his life. And I forget actually how old this leopard is. I think he's knocking on a little bit. I think I'll have to double check his age. Maybe one of the viewers can help me out and remind me. But he did come in from the south, and he was quite aggressive when he was younger. And he would steal other leopards' kills, and he would even steal them from his sister, and he was quite a handful when he was younger, hence the name of Mafufunyane. But as he's matured, he's actually quietened down quite a lot, and you can see he's really quite relaxed. But I think he still gives a few of the leopards a bit of grief. Hi Binky, and I'm trying to remember how old Mafufunyane is. I wonder if someone can actually just double check for me, because it does escape my memory for the time being. It's been so long since I've seen him. I think he's either around 9 or 10, or maybe in his early teens. I do forget though. If someone can check for me, that'd be great. And for those of you wanting to know what the tracks were earlier, it was a tortoise. You think about how a tortoise walks, and those deep marks were from the feet of the tortoise. But you don't see any tail marks dragging or anything like that onto the shell, it's just the feet. And the second track was a beetle. It had a couple of interesting possibilities there. But it was a beetle track, about the width of my finger. And again, if this leopard gets bothered by flies enough, he may just decide to get up and move again. Come in? Sorry, I didn't copy what that was.
She's a cut line in a fabric. She's heading east. So that she'll be crossed anytime she gets to her.
Sorry, confirm Mvula.
Mukombi.
Ah. So our rhino did pop out. They're heading south towards Chitwa now. Hi Bill. For anybody else who may have just joined us, this is Mafufunyane. One of the 3 males that are found here in the Sabi Sands, or three males that are found here at Djuma Game Reserve, should I say. There's a few other male leopards that are found here in the Sabi Sands. It's the 3 dominant male leopards, Mafufunyane, and he patrols the south side around Gary, Maine, Mvula around the north and east, and Yambili Jordan around most of Djuma Game Reserve. And obviously Mishu and Induna are still around, but they're not really territory holders. They're still in their mother's territory at the moment. I think they do venture further north, and I think Induna possibly further south, but as yet they're not territory holders. And Mary wanting to know how many leopards are around here. I think we've actually counted the possible number, about 10 or 12, actually on our 1,000 hectares that we traverse. In the whole of Sabi Sands, I'm not entirely sure, but I would say, at a guess, maybe about around the 100 mark, maybe more, maybe less. I'll see if I can actually find out, because it's one thing I have wanted to know. In the whole of the Greater Kruger, so that's Sabi Sands and the Kruger National Park, it's around 1,400 leopards in the whole of that area, which is about 2.7 million hectares. So here in the Sabi Sands, it would be nice to know exactly how many are around here. Thanks, Patty. Was it Patricia? Could be Patty. Is that Patricia Mulligan? Oh, just Mulligan. Thanks, Patty. I just wanted to check it was the right Patty. Saying he was born in 1980. No, 1998. And he would be very old if he was 1980. So he's around 13, I thought so. Early teens. Thanks, Patty, for that. Coming back to us on that one. And Holly also looking it up for us. Thank you very much, ladies. Oh, and Joy or Joy? I think Joe. I think it was Joe. Joe. Thanks, Joe. Even though this cat is sleeping now, you still see the ears turning all the time. You heading that way or this way? That way. Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you welcome to approach?
Thank you, Shara. Thank you. It's Rexon here. I've left Mafufunyane with Tara and son Rexon pulling in south of Gary Mine.
Ooh, someone's going flying around the corner. Hello. How are you? Very well, thank you. Hello. Yeah, he's just here. I keep meaning to come over and say hello to you. Are you going to be able to say hello to everybody? Sure, no problem. No worries. Maybe I'll just drop the camera down. That's it. Hello. Hi, Ruth. Ruth wanting to know the lifespan of the leopard and the lion. And the leopard is usually a little bit longer than the lion. It's usually into its mid-teens, but here in the Surrey Sands they seem to be lasting a little bit longer into their late teens. Lion usually around 10 for male on average. And for a female slightly older, maybe about 12 or so. Obviously that is an average, so we can get lions into their early teens as well. And maybe even mid-teens. Okay, he's yawning. He's yawned a couple of times, so we may see him actually getting up again. And when they yawn like that, it's to actually increase the amount of oxygen into their body, and it gets more oxygen into their muscles. So you may see them actually getting up, or if they yawn and then lie flat, maybe in a few minutes they'll start to get up again. There we go. And there he goes. You give us a quick wave, Rexon. Is it possible to give us a quick wave? Everybody would love to see you. Yeah. Is it possible to just have... There you go, everyone. There's Rexon. Thanks, Rexon. Everyone misses you. Thank you. I know everybody's been wanting to see Rexon. So he is guiding for another lodge at the moment. So I'm going to see... Oh, can you still see him there? We're going to have to stay here. Unfortunately, we are on the southern boundary, so we can't follow him. So once as he goes, we'll see if we can get into the lineup for the lion sighting. I know there's quite a few vehicles also interested. I know it's been quite busy that side. But it's been wonderful to spend some time with Mafufunyane. This is only my third time of seeing him in a year. And you can hear those lapwings calling. Well, there we go. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I think it was worth spending time with him, as I say. And always wonderful to be in the presence of such a beautiful cat. A very powerful one at that. And just because they're smaller than a lion does not mean they're any less dangerous. In fact, they're probably more, because you do misunderestimate them. There we go. So, let's see if there is some space with the lions. As I was saying earlier, with it being on the main road, all the other properties are able to come onto this road. So that's why there's been a lot of activity around the lions and the buffaloes this morning. And even with the leopard, we actually came in at the right time for the leopard. Unfortunately, the rhinos have crossed over. So they must have just been on that corner, because remember we did Leopard Road, so they must have just been on that corner of Cheetah Cut Line. They may have just popped out there.
Yes, I will. That's what Mafufunyane did again.
Thanks, Rexon. I'm pulling out.
Thank you, Tara. Enjoy the evening. My regards to everyone. Thank you.
I will do. Everyone enjoyed seeing you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tomorrow, that's
I'm going to see who's in charge of the lions. Which station with the Ngala? Keep going, you might miss him.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Good. There's still space for two on the guys.
Oh, is there? Oh, thank you. Who's on the log?
There's Steve now.
Steve.
He's, he's moving up, and then with must be Chris.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, you might miss him. Keep going. Awesome. Andrew's saying that there should be space for us now, so let's see if we can join with the lions. Which station with the Ngala? Sorry, you're cutting up. Confirm we can take first standby?
Yeah.
Copy, thank you so much. Okay. Wow. Where's the fire? Sorry, just to confirm, that's the Madonas on Gary, Maine? Copy, thank you so much. Okay. Oh, we missed the sunset. It was happening just as we were watching Mafufunyane. You can still see there's quite a lot of serious clouds up in the sky, and there's also a front coming in, a thick cloud. But now is the time for the cats, as you saw with Mafufunyane moving on. This is very much the time for the cats now. And you never know, we may even be lucky enough to see serval or caracal, some of the smaller cats. We have seen them in the past. There may be a chance to see them. And even I heard about a week ago that there are striped weasels here. So now's the time where these animals might become active. And obviously that has been what everybody's been waiting for, is these lions to start moving. And just as we bumped into Mafufunyane, that is when the lions were also starting to move, and everyone just went boom to try and see the lions. See lights up ahead, so we're not going to be able to go too much further. Actually, we can go and have a look at the pans. We won't be able to go too much further, otherwise we'll be bumping the lock. And good afternoon to you, Linda. Linda wants to know, how will an older male leopard react to his daughter? Well, that's quite the interesting thing, and that's why we think maybe Mafufunyane was Karula's father, because of the way he interacted with her. Now, usually a mating between father and daughter for the first time, there shouldn't be anything too wrong with the cubs. It's not great, because obviously you start losing genetic diversity, but it's not going to be harmful for the species. But if you start going into the father with the offspring of the daughter and, you know, more matings like that, that's when you start to get the problem. And here in the Sabi Sands, there should be enough of a difference between the animals that there shouldn't become a problem. And as I say, Mafufunyane, he is getting pushed out by Yambili Odan. He's also getting pushed out by Mvula. Mvula is starting to take quite a lot of territory, actually. And there's also pressure from other males from the south. So it may be that he gets pushed out of the area completely and a new male takes over. And already, with Karula's daughters being pushed out either side, they've actually mated with, well, one's mated with Mvula, who's not related to them at all, and the other possibly Mafufunyane. But again, we're not entirely sure. It could have been another male leopard. Taking it easy around here, see if there's the aardvark around while we're waiting to try and see the lions. see, maybe there's a bush baby or two around here. So I'd love to try and show you an aardvark. Ooh, there's a nightjar in the road. Oh, no, he was in the road. For once the nightjar moved. You don't usually get that. Now an aardvark doesn't stand very tall, so its eye is going to be very low down, so sometimes you don't even see the eye, you just see the animal. Hi Zach, welcome on board to you this afternoon. Why is it that animals seem to be living longer here in the Sabi Sands? Good question, Zach. And I think because there's plenty of food here, that's one of the reasons why even the leopards have fairly small territories compared to leopards further afield. Just depends on the amount of prey, and I think that could be one of the reasons why they are living a bit longer. But the lions, on the other hand, don't seem to be getting as old with all the takeovers. But it really does depend on the area and the amount of other predators around, the amount of the same species, the amount of prey. And the same goes for the prey as well, the amount of predators around, the amount of competition for the food. And it could be, Zach, that we're researching more. So we're seeing these leopards more often than leopards outside of the reserve in other places where it's hard to actually study them. And it could be actually these animals are longer lived than what we gave them credit for. But the fact that we're actually doing a lot more research now is showing it up. And that goes for a lot of things.
Along Galway, waiting for the Galway.
Copy, is there space for me now?
No, negative. Not yet, but I'll pull out in front.
Copy, I thought you were saying there's space, thank you. We're just waiting for them to give us space. So yeah, as I say, it could be to do with both of those things. But certainly there is a lot more research going on than maybe what there used to be, and we actually start to understand a lot more than maybe what we used to. Because as technology gets better and as questions get answered, more questions get asked. So we go into the finer points. I may have been the hippo out of the water. Can't see him. So we'll turn around and hopefully by the time we do the rest of this road, we'll be able to go and see the lions. Which is fantastic. And just to put it into context for you, when I was at school, I was always under the impression, as was a lot of people from documentaries, that lions are active during the day and they hunt during the day, because that was the only footage that the documentaries could get. And as technology got better and they actually were able to follow lions in the dark, and obviously tourism really started taking off, and lions were able, you know, you could actually view them a lot more, it was actually found that they hunt more at night than during the day. And what has been seen on the documentaries was lions that were either very desperate during the harsh times and were taking any opportunity to hunt. Oh, that's us. Standing by.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah, to make you actual make your way here. We're heading towards the garden. They might turn into the garden, so yeah, make your way here. I'll pull up.
Copy, thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, he's saying that he's going to pull out and give us space just in case they do head south. So I'm just going to put my foot down a little bit. And also the same goes for hyenas. It was always thought that hyenas are only scavengers and they'll steal meat from other animals, especially lions. But actually, a lot of the time, lions are actually stealing food from the hyenas that have been able to hunt. And what they're actually seeing is the hyenas trying to get their food back from the lions. But they do still scavenge a lot, so it's not untrue, but they are very capable hunters. And again, only that has really been understood fairly recently in the last decade or so, I think. Okay, I see lights, so we may be turning in here. Okay, here we go. Ah, this side. Hello! Oh, they're just that side. Thank you so much. Oh, here they come. Beautiful boys. 3 of them walking down the road. Fantastic. And let's see if we can get them walking next to us again. See, I can see at least. Oh, there's all 4 here. Oh, fantastic. Here we go, look at this. There's all 4 brothers here, look. The Majingilanes are together again. The big male with the dark mane at the front, smudge at the back. I think we've just seen the hierarchy. What a day for the cats. Wow, wow, wow. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful males in their prime. And here we go, continuing on. Just going to move again to see if we can have a look at them. And there's the other male just coming out of the bush again. I hope Mafufunyane keeps moving. Because otherwise he's going to have a big problem on his paws. Big problem. Okay, I'm going to see if we can go ahead again. Same idea. They're doing their namesake, marching the line, Majingilanes. Abel, come in. Copy, mind if I pull past you?
problem.
Thank you. Unfortunately, at the moment there isn't too much of a gap to try and see if we can get around in front of them again, but we'll certainly try. So, see if we can. Oh, it's going to be a little bit too difficult there. So for now, hopefully it's going to be a little bit easier again. Okay, we're going to try and do the same thing as we did with Mafufunyane. Trying to pass just on the left hand side. Keeping some space between us and them so that we don't interfere with their behaviour. You can see, oh, there's one lying down in the road.
With it, with Ngala from Gary, mate. Hi, Steve. Yes, surprise. Evo. Surprise, does it? Evo, going straight down and got him in. How many more was there? 3 more. Right. Right. I'm trying to get past. Okay, where's Gary, mate? You guys now? Still coming west along the Gary.
Okay, we're going to try and move again. Are you still going? Oh, okay. So just going to try and see if we can get up ahead of them again. What I'd love to hear is if these 4 males start to roar. That really would be something else. guys come in. But I think if these boys are out on the hunt, which is what I think they are, they're not going to be roaring at the moment. Okay, unfortunately we are going to have to make some space. I think there is some people, I think there's still quite a lot of people wanting to see these beautiful animals. And it really has been an absolute treat seeing all 4 Majingilane together. See, it's picking up the scent of something, this male. Surprise, come in. Confirm how many stations on standby?
3.
Copy, we'll pull out and make some space.
Do you want to make a space?
We'll pull out and make some space.
Okay, copy.
But wow, what a fantastic...
Those 4 lions could take down anything together.
Hold on, people. I'm just trying to sort out. I think my spot's just gone. I think it has just died. I thought it might have been the connection. Okay, we're going to have to move out of this area. But I really hope that they do turn onto our part of the world. Oops. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have some luck with them tomorrow morning. I really hope so. Were you all holding your breath as they were walking by the vehicle? What an amazing sighting.
See how they looked at me?
Yeah.
They saw me moving backwards.
Certainly such a powerful animal. And there was one that was looking at everybody. But I think definitely we've just seen the hierarchy. That big male walking right in front, the smaller male smudge on his nose, walking towards the back, and the other 2 flanking his right. That really was quite something. But as I say, unfortunately, we are having to make space. It was quite a quick sighting of them. But there is a lot of people interested, and there's a lot of people who've paid a lot of money to be here. And it would be unfair of us to hog the sighting. So glad we were able to see them. So glad. Yeah, definitely not many times, as Daniel's saying.
They're all brothers.
As far as we know, they are all brothers. Just in case you guys can't hear, Daniel is asking, are they all brothers? As far as we know, they are. But they did come in from the east, from Kruger. So we're not entirely sure. They could have been born in the Magnoleti. I think one of the guides up there recognised them when they were younger. But I'm not sure if it's been confirmed. And just like when leopards or lions are born, the ranger who finds them has the privilege of naming them. And some of you may remember one of the Juma guides, Greg. I think he did come on Fireside Chat a couple of times. He actually did see them first, so he got to name them Majingilane, which means walking the line, which is exactly what they were doing this evening. And we went from maybe about a 75 kilo male leopard to probably weighing in about 240, 260 kilos of male lion times 4. Maybe the smaller male is probably about 240, 220. That larger one, I reckon maybe about 240 at least. Oh, we've even got a beautiful clear sky tonight. You can see Orion and our brightest star in the sky, Sirius, means sparkling one. The nose of the dog, Canis Major. And actually it should be coming up for a meteor shower about the 20th, 22nd of April. The Lyroids. It's even a good month to see all the planets that you can see with the naked eye. So towards the end of April, you should be able to see at least 4 out of the 5. Saturn should be rising about now, should be low on the horizon. And if you do locate it, if you look through your binoculars, you should be able to see the rings of Saturn. I think it is around Virgo, if I remember rightly. It's still just a little bit too bright to see it at the moment. But Jupiter, Venus, Mercury and Mars should be up around the end of April. In the first thing in the morning. And if you look towards where the sun's just about to rise, you should be able to see Venus, the brightest thing in the sky at that point. And very close by, if you use binoculars, you should be able to see Mercury. Just look very close to where Venus is. If you're wondering why I'm not using the spotlight now, I think the bulb was just blown. Luckily it lasted for the Majingilanes. And again, just to try and keep the animals relaxed, we're only allowed 1 spotlight on the animals at any one time. So that's why I was picking where to spotlight the lions. And obviously as they came closer to us, somebody else did have a spotlight on them. So I couldn't spotlight them as they came close, but hopefully you could see. And again, you could have literally just reached down and touched them. And to be that close is something so powerful. Wow. That's all I can say.
You're quite exposed there with no door.
Yeah, very exposed without a door down here.
I think yours is quite different.
Nah. I could see there was only the one that looked. The other 2 carried on. And there was a sly look from the 4th. But a split second you do wonder what if. And it's that natural instinct, that fight or flight instinct, very raw behaviour that all of us possess. And it's certainly nothing to get blasé about. And always check their behaviour. We've got some tracks here. Hyena tracks. So in case there was some people that might have missed what the answer to the tracking question was, the first one was a tortoise, the second one was a beetle. Well done to everybody who did get it right. Quite a distinctive track. And quite a difficult one if you've never seen it before. Just another one before we say goodbye. If ever you do want to have a look at something celestial, and if you know the constellation Orion, the hunter, and you see it's got the belt, and then there's 3 stars all in a row, smaller 3 stars all in a row, take your binos and have a look there, because you'll actually see a nebula, which is where stars are being born. Great nebula of Orion. Certainly worth a look. If you have a telescope, also very much worth a look. Just reminded me because I'm actually seeing it now. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to come out on the camera. We can maybe give it a go as we pan up to the sky. Might be able to see it. But if you know the constellation, and those 3 stars that hang almost like a sword on the hunter. It's very, very distinctive. Well, unfortunately, just suddenly realised, I'm not going to be able to say goodbye in a spotlight. Oh. Maybe we can pan up there just as I say goodbye. So unfortunately you're going to have my face in blackness, so maybe we can just pan up to the stars while I'm talking. But thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed it, with the lions and leopards having quite a close walk by of each of the beautiful species of cat that we have here in Juma Game Reserve. It really was quite something. And my adrenaline is still pumping, as I'm hoping yours is too. But thank you very much, Daniel, for all your camera work, and Siyabonga back in final control. You've been watching Wild Earth, and it definitely doesn't get much more wilder than this afternoon. But take care wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you again soon. If you'd like to join us on our next live safari, that's 6 o'clock Central African time tomorrow morning, and we'll see if we can catch up with those beautiful tawny cats again. But take care everyone, and bye for now.